Welcome to She's a Full-On Monet, a digital lifestyle magazine for women. Every week, our editor-in-chief, Kelly Castillo, along with Megan Block and special guests, participate in a deep dive discussion about recent articles and topics we have covered. We invite you to become part of our community where everyone's welcome.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is She's a Full-On Monet and I'm your host Kelly. I'm here as always with Megan.
Hello.
Hello. So this week we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to talk about a subject that it was a new concept to me, but something I've fully embraced since I heard about it. And hopefully it's something that we figure out how to explain over podcast, over verbal,
we'll
rather
do
than
our very best.
Visual. Yes. So we are talking today about how to organize your backgrounds for your desktop computer, laptop, iPhone, all of it basically. And this is something that I first heard about on TikTok actually. And I thought it was a really cool idea. I basically immediately changed my home screen on my iPhone. But it took me a little longer to do the background on my work computer, my desktop computer, just because like I'm not as familiar with using some of the systems. And I don't think I'm like super great at technology. So it took me a little bit, but now it looks really nice. I'm actually really happy every time I open my computer.
And I know your personality. And so if it like works within your life and you know, further encourages like organization or just some brain calm, all for it.
Yeah.
You know?
I strive to be an organized person, but it doesn't really come naturally to me. I have to actually work at it like every day because my life is super chaotic. I have a lot of kind of juggling balls up in the air. I've got a lot of businesses and different tasks that I do every day that are kind of a mixed bag. I wear a lot of hats. So it's hard for me to be super organized. And I'm just not naturally super organized. You're way more organized naturally than me, I feel like.
Oh, well, my mom was really organized. So I got it from her and it's, you know, and I also picked up some stuff from you. And I mean, goodness sakes, like what we're talking about today. And then also like those, remember that it was at the Day Designer?
Oh yeah.
Plug, but like that thing, because I've seen a lot of, it's a book where you can write down your day to-do list, but there's also a specific area to write like what's for dinner and stuff like that, and that spoke to me when I saw yours, because you know, I can't write everything in one block because then that actually bothers me. Like I want a spot to put what's for dinner because I don't feel like it belongs there. Like when I find an organizational tool, whatever it may be, technology, non-technology, that further helps my brain feel less like a cluster, you know?
Yeah.
I'm all for those things because I feel like I have to do it all. And I feel like everyone feels that way. Like we have to do it all, but we know we know it's impossible. We know when we set up our to-do list for the day and we think about it, we're like, that's not even possible for like a superhero to do, yet we do it anyway, right? So if we can be organized and get, say, 60% of it done at like the best possible way we can do it, it just helps, you know, anything that's organizational or helps your brain feel less stressed out when it sees it. For me, when I have too many apps or too many things going on in my phone or my desktop, like it bothers me. Like, or when I have to use someone else's phone for something and I see that they're like, my husband's phone is like, I don't even know how he finds anything because it's just like page after page after page of like nonsense. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Where is the organization? It's not important to him. I don't know how he gets by. You know, so I'm very much like you, and I've learned techniques through things that you've applied and things you've done, because we can't do it all. We need as much help as we can get, you know, and anything that's going to add to the stress of like thinking about what we need to get done. You know, if you need to find something on your desktop or your phone and it's, you know, not organized properly, then it's just going to frustrate you. So
yeah. Well, I know for myself, I resist setting up organizational systems because I don't think they're the most productive use of my time. Like it's not something that's going to get my to-do list done that day. So I tend to put it on the back burner. But once I take the time and do it, I realize that everything is streamlined after that point. And I ask myself, like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because I mean, I I've spent time that I thought not was wasted time, but not super productive time to like label all of the bins in my medicine cabinet and things like that. And then I think, okay, this is over the top. And then when I go to look for something and I immediately see where it is without having to move everything around. And
Is it the weirdest thing? I'm the same way, but I never once ever think this is over the top. I'm like labeling everything. I'm like, finally, yes. Like I finally caved and got a label maker and I labeled all the things. And then it's frustrating because I labeled things like toys and no one respects the labels. I'm like, this is Barbie clothes and there's other things in here. Did you not read the label? And they're like, oh, what label? It's like this big. But I'm like, dude, like there is whatever. I love it. I don't think it's over the top. I think it's super helpful. You know,
it is. It's a mental block for me, I think. Yeah. But once I do it, I'm like so happy that I just did in my laundry room. We have guest rooms, that are queen beds. My daughter's room is a full bed. The guest apartment is a king bed. And then our bed is a California king. So we have lots of different sizes of beds throughout the house. And I have some of those rollaway beds that are twins. So I have all these sheets that are extra sheets for everybody's beds in the laundry room. And I was trying to make one of the guest room beds and every sheet I grabbed was the wrong size.
Oh, it's frustrating.
And I would go and try to put the sheet on and the corners and I was so frustrated. I ran and grabbed my label maker and I spent an hour and I separated all the sheets by size and then I refolded them and I put labels on the shelves. So queen sheets, queen pillowcases, and then full it's organized now. Wow. So as long as I keep up with putting them away in the right spot, I will never have that problem again.
Respects the system, right? Yeah.
Right.
Same thing. Yeah. But it's super, super helpful. How's your pantry and your fridge? I see stuff on TikTok and stuff like that, or whatever. And I'm like, with the clear bins and everything's out of the packages. And I'm like, oh.
My pantry is honestly pretty immaculate right now. We did a Container Store run recently.
Really? Oh, I live for this stuff. I'm like,
everything is in bins and labeled. And
love that.
And even those little snacks and stuff are in baskets. So
I love that.
It doesn't look cluttery.
Yeah. I think it's super, super nice looking. I envy, and that's stuff I like. As I'm doing it, I love doing. It's just I
get a weird satisfaction. Every Monday is the day that I go grocery shopping. And I also use that time to clean out the fridges.
Oh, okay.
So, because I clean them out as I'm making my grocery list.
Yeah.
So I throw away everything that's expired or, leftovers from last week, whatever it is. And then I move the most soonest expiration date to the front and I put the new stuff in the back.
Wow, you've really gotten a system down with that. That's smart.
Yeah, it makes me feel
it's not going bad and you're not buying too much of something.
Yeah, well, a few years ago, Alex had grabbed, I think it was a chia juice, a Mama Chia's juice out of the fridge and it had expired and he didn't read, he's a man, he didn't read the expiration date. And he just drank it. And he got really sick. And yeah, so because of his health issues, I'm so careful with him to not get sick. So now I'm militant about expiration dates and checking everything once a week. And it's just the time. And I feel so satisfied when it's done. I look at the fridge and I'm just bliss, to have it all organized. And I know exactly what we have of everything. And it makes me feel good. Makes me happy.
That's the one thing that I will always forever keep up. And the place, my in-laws don't do it. My dad doesn't do it. And they don't check the expiration dates ever on anything. And I once a week is great. I used to do it every other week. I think once a week is even better because the weirdest things go bad fast. I don't even, and you're throwing away a lot, but the fridge looks crazy amazing once you're done doing that tool. We're so getting off topic, but it's still on the topic of organization.
It's on the topic of organization.
So all good things.
Did you see the TikTok that we're talking? I mean, there's been a series of TikToks about this subject, but the one that sparked the whole thing was the TikTok about organizing your iPhone folders.
I've seen different versions of it. I haven't seen the specific one, but I'm loving it because my current iPhone situation, I have them in folders, labeled folders, because I do have a lot of apps, but even that doesn't feel I feel like I could do better.
Yeah, I have a ton of apps and I never liked having them in folders because I liked being able to click on them with one click and not have to go into a folder. But I used to have them grouped on my phone by color. which to me made a lot of sense. Like my phone looked like a little rainbow and it was pretty. But I recently saw that TikTok where the lady had reorganized her phone, and she had used affirmations as the name of the folders. So as soon as I saw that, I redid my iPhone. So basically what you do is you group the apps by category, and then the name of the folder, rather than like, I used to have names on my folder like health, lifestyle, banking,
Videos,
yeah.
photography.
And now I've changed them to affirmations. So all my banking apps, for example, I have my like Wells Fargo bank app and my Venmo and PayPal and those, anything financially related. I have my Charles Schwab or what, I don't know. They're in a folder, and it used to be called banking. And now it's called I Am Wealthy. And then I have everything health related, my sleep tracker, my health, like Apple Watch health thing, all my like little 7-minute yoga, whatever apps I have are in that. And it's, I Am Healthy. And then I have all my photo editing apps and things that I like, little, not games, but like little apps where you can do stuff on your phone are under I Am Creative. And then I have all my home, because we have a smart home. So all of my home is all controlled with like apps for the gates, for the lights, for the theater, everything. So that's all I Am Sheltered. And so you get the idea. All the different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's not like so far-fetched to where you're searching for, you know, I don't know if this is under this because it's obvious, but it's still like giving you that positive affirmation when you read it and you hit it.
That's the thing. What I've realized, like all my social media apps are in a folder and it says I am connected. And so those are probably what I open the most, but it's impossible for me to go into that folder without reading the affirmation at the bottom. So every time I open it, I read I am connected. And it's so, I mean, it sounds really silly, but honestly,
of course, it always says affirmations in general to people sound silly at first because it's like, who wants to talk themselves up?
Right. But I'm not saying it out loud. I'm reading it.
Yeah.
But what it does to me is that when I'm opening the social media app, my intention and my mindset just shifted a tiny bit. So instead of opening it up to mindlessly scroll or to, think negatively, compare myself to others, whatever it is, I'm thinking I am connected as I open it. And it's just a very small, like mental change in the way that even was in the background of your thoughts, maybe. But I have already noticed a difference. Like when I'm opening up the health app and it says I am healthy, I don't know. It's like a little boost. I don't know how to explain that. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this because I think it looks cool, but I really don't think like I'm going to get any benefit from it. Like I'm really not a heavy follower of affirmations and motivational talk.
Things look prettier. It's like, it's the same thing. Banking, I Am Wealthy. It's the same thing, but oh my goodness, like cursive's prettier than just regular Times New Roman. Like you can say the same thing, but also like completely shift ever so slightly the way your brain is processing it. And that can totally like seep into other parts of your day. And,
and it seems like it has.
Crazy. That's great. And you've done it and applied it and you already have results from it that you can like honestly express.
I probably did that like 2 weeks ago, but and I thought, I will immediately stop even noticing these affirmations and not register them anymore like you do with anything, right? That's normal. But that hasn't happened.
Oh, neat.
So yeah, even like, okay, all my shopping apps, like I have Amazon, I have I don't know, Nordstrom, like whatever, they're all in one. It says the affirmation for that is I have plenty. So my mind, like when I have a really bad habit of like late night shopping because I'm bored.
No, I love that affirmation.
Yeah.
You have plenty.
I don't need anything. And so it has changed kind of my outlook a little bit because sometimes you click through and they're having a sale and that's a really good price. And even though you don't need it, just remind that little voice in the back of my head saying I have plenty before I open it, just kind of has shifted a little bit of my mindset. And it does remind me like I'm so blessed. I have more than enough. When I open the I Am Sheltered, sometimes someone's ringing the doorbell and I don't know what it is about the bell on our gate, but people like, cause you can't hear it, you push it and they push it. And then within half a second, push it again, push it again. And they're standing there pushing. and it's going off in the house and on my phone. The dogs are going nuts. And I'm like, people, one time is plenty.
There's
But
gotta be a way to fix this. Cause like I've been to homes like that too. And I'm like, you don't know if it's broken or if you're like deaf or like you personally didn't hear it, or
yeah.
you don't know what the, and then you
And some people
you
aren't
hit it 12
sure
times.
if it's even a bell, or is it an intercom? Like, how does this work?
Yeah. It
So
can be a little confusing.
So sometimes I'm opening the app and I'm annoyed. So
Yeah, sometimes you're not always opening apps. People aren't always opening with banking. Sometimes they're not always opening it with the happiest of mindset. You can say banking because you're already in a bad mindset, or you can say I am wealthy. And honestly, if there's like 53 cents in the account, you remind yourself what you're wealthy of.
right. I'm not, when I,
that.
yeah, when I titled it, I am wealthy, by no means is that a flex. It's more like,
It's like a remembrance that that's not where your wealth comes from.
right. Also, and that how the abundance that we as privileged people live with every day, that there are lots of people around the world that our version of struggle, it would be their version of incredible blessings.
1000%.
Yeah. So it's just a little reminder of that you're blessed and that you have more than enough. And the I am sheltered. Yeah, it's annoying that someone is ringing my gate like 20 times. But at the same time, like I have a roof over my head and I have the security. And so it is a little bit of a gratitude reminder for me. I don't know that I intended that when I just thought it looked pretty, but it has been definitely a reminder to be grateful for what I have, and to be a little more intentional when I'm scrolling on my phone. I'm definitely more intentional. So that just makes me happy. It's been about 2 weeks now. I haven't stopped looking at them or, not noticing them anymore. So I think for me, it was a very positive change, a very simple change to make and very positive. So I'm really happy with it. But that's definitely like the first aspect of what we wanted to talk about, but we're also going to be talking about computer organization today too. Is that something that you would do on your phone? Do you think you would benefit from it?
So I totally want to try it because I mean, you are actively looking for words like that are what you're looking for. Say you're looking for a banking app, you are looking for something that's financial or banking. If say you've grouped folders together, right now I have them as work, banking, photography, videos. Like to me that seems like if it's not going to have me further confused on where something is, it's got to be in the ballpark. Like when you put home, shelter, that those terms mean the same thing. So when you're looking for a home app, it's going to be there. But yeah, I'm totally going to apply that. And just because I feel like it's perfect for someone who feels really funky about saying affirmations out loud. I know we've talked about that in the past.
That's me.
Yeah, me too. And so I totally feel like this is the way to still apply them to your life and still try them out and still give them a go without having to fully give them a go.
Yeah, I'm not the type of person
reading them out loud. You're not like, I am wealthy. Like, no, you're reading it subconsciously and saying and reading it, internally.
Yeah, I'm never going to stand in front of the mirror and tell myself how amazing I am and I can do anything and I'm an amazing person. I just would feel silly and I don't think I would be back talking myself in my head. I know myself. So this is has nothing to do with me talking to myself. I'm literally, my eyes can't help but read it when I open it up. And it just gives me a little tiny positive boost.
I'm going to be real honest. This is like as affirmations as this person's going to get.
Yeah.
I feel like that's fine because I look at, also truth. I also look at my phone a lot. So reading these affirmations might happen throughout the day a couple times in different areas. Like, I'm very guilty of going on my phone and mindlessly not connecting through social media, so if it says I'm connected, maybe I'll go into my social media apps on my off time when I'm not working and look at those things from a different lens. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, I might actually go in and connect and comment rather than mindlessly scroll. So, and I check, like I said, my social apps often throughout the day. So it's a good affirmation for program for me, who's not going to be like you, who is, like you said, talking in the mirror and like talking myself up ever. But I still feel like there is such a good, solid purpose, and I still want to have affirmations. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like when you get to like your 30s, you're like, I'm pretty solid and know who I am. And I know that like I'll do this once for you all, but I'm not going to do it the next day. So like I
Yeah.
know that it's not in my soul to do affirmations, but I do want to apply it. So this is perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
I think
try it.
if affirmations had really been a thing when I was in my early 20s, I could have really benefited from them. But I don't remember anybody even mentioning them or talking about them or that it was
I
even
like
like
to
a
read
thing.
them. Like I'll totally go on Pinterest and look up quotes that are positive or like and get my head in a good mindset and like affirm myself through other really great words. But I'm never one to like look in the mirror or, even say things to myself out loud. I just think it's like
Yeah.
hats off to the people that do it. It's just like it's not my personality type. But this is so subtle, but still, as you can attest to, still productive. You know.
Yes, I agree. And I think, I don't know what's my computer doing. I'm sorry if you can hear that. I I think in a very small way, it has kind of changed some of the decisions that I make, like that I am connected with my social. I have all of my like restaurant apps and food apps under I Am Nourished, and reading that before I'm
Ah,
opening like Open Table and I'm really thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to go get like something
nourished is a
very bad for me today.
nourished is a very good choice of words because if you put something else, you could be going on those apps for a very different purpose.
Yeah, but reading it, it kind of plants the seed in my head that I should choose something that nourishes my body rather than like maybe I've had a stressful day and I'm just really wanting a giant bowl of horrible pasta or something. I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't think of
which is
anything right
also
now, but
okay. But if you
it's
have
fine.
typed in like yummy, or like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's other like trigger words that could search you in a different direction when you go to those apps. Or
Yeah,
you
it just
scrolling and you see it, you're gonna be like, oh, maybe I need that.
yeah, I'm a stress eater. Like food is comfort for me.
Yes, me
So
too.
reading that I Am Nourished just reminds me that the purpose of it is to nourish my body and not necessarily be an emotional crutch for me. And so, I mean, it's just a small reminder, but it
That's
helps.
very good. So that's a very good reminder to maybe when you are choosing, if you choose to try this out, to be very mindful of how you're wording it, because like the mind reads something and it's already kind of made the decision before you've even processed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the affirmations that I chose to use on my folders were my personal decision, and by no means am I suggesting them to anyone else. I think you need to kind of even pull up on, like you said, Pinterest, a list of affirmations and choose the ones that will make sense for the folders that you're making, so you can find your apps, but also that speak to you personally and you think will resonate with you, because mine were what would resonate with me, but some people would feel awkward using the same ones, and everybody's so individual. I think
Yes, this isn't like a blueprint for what you should do. It's just like a
no.
suggestion, because we're in a state now where everyone's staring at a screen, whether it's desktop or most likely their phone. So you might as well take a closer look at what you're looking at. And it's even the smallest things like banking, or videos versus something like, I am connected. Like you're going to stare at it most of the time anyway. We get those reminders every week of how much screen time we've used, right?
Yeah.
So how much you're on it. It might as well serve you and serve your soul and be a place of good.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't control sometimes what we see when we're on the internet or on social media or whatever, but we can control what the layout looks like and how our minds are receiving that information. So
yeah, and one of the tips that we've shared in a different article was if you're one of those people who affirmations don't sit right with you and you kind of back talk them to yourself or you spin them negatively, you can change them to something that we called in the article "if-formations," to say like, what if I'm wealthy? What if I am enough? What if I am creative? Like,
yeah,
and that is a little bit less, I don't want to say aggressive. Affirmations aren't aggressive, but it's a little bit of more of a soul searching question,
then
where
a statement or like a fact or whatever.
right, where you feel like you're,
I love to do like, well, like what if it works out, or
Right.
what if you get, whatever it is, fill in the blank, because it's so easy to go into that negative mindset. it's easier to do that because it's easier to expect. Unfortunately, as we get older, it's just like the world warps us into thinking it's probably not going to work out. And so our brain just kind of goes into that negative space. You got to like, actually, well, what if you get the job? What if, you know, you get the place? What if it works out? What if he ends up calling you? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know, like, believe me, if you just ask that question, it's like you can't help but like ask yourself that or answer it, but from a different mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
Exactly. So the desktop, laptop, computer background, we're going to talk about that. I just did mine, and I did it actually for the research purposes for this article and podcast. So I used Canva, which I am not that familiar with. Megan, I know you're way more familiar with it.
I see like the commercial come on and I'm like, yes, like I love that. I'm not like a guru at it, but man, oh man, is it so great. I love that. It can do so much. I've done, you know, media kits on it. I create stories on for Instagram and social media. You can create business cards on it. You can do so much on Canva.
Yeah, the things that you can do on
love it.
Canva, you used to have to know like a publisher, you used to have
Pay
to know
someone.
really like all the
Like
Adobe
everything.
suite. Yeah. I mean, you had to be like a graphic designer to do this kind of work. And Canva makes it really easy, but I just did mine. And so I went to Canva. I have a free account. So it wasn't paid. I didn't have to pay anything for it. And I searched for, I was putting it on my desktop. So I searched desktop wallpaper, and there were like, I want to say 80 choices. It was a lot. It was overwhelming. So, I decided there were a lot, and they seemed to be kind of color specific. So I decided that I needed to kind of decide on a color scheme first of what I wanted my computer to be. And I don't have a Mac. I have because I'm a child of the 80s. They didn't teach us Macs in computer class when I was a kid.
Right?
They taught us like
almost too much.
HTML.
It's almost
Yeah.
too much awesomeness. Like I get overwhelmed. I'm
Me
like,
too.
where's the PC?
Yeah, I know. I sound so
I'm
old
the
right
same
now.
way.
But I am not. I love Macs. I wish I was a Mac person, but I probably need to sit down with one of my kids and have them teach me so that I can finally
Right?
be the
It's like
Mac
when
person
you
I
give a
dream of.
grandma like the newest iPhone. You're like, you're using like 3% of this thing, which is me
Yeah.
on a Mac.
When I go into the Apple store and I see like the elderly people that are getting one of those classes on how to use their phone, I'm like, that is so amazing. Go you. But I need it for me for the actual like MacBook. Or yeah. But
No, I need it too because I know it's the best possible option, but I have no clue what I'm doing.
yeah, the
Hate
kids
it.
keep telling me it's the best because everything will be integrated, like your phone, your iPad, your computer. And I agree, but I need a
We're all
heavy
for it.
tutorial.
We're all for it, but give us like one massive tutorial. Like I'm sure there are some. You can YouTube anything now, but
Yeah, if anybody my generation remembers when you used to buy a computer and it had a tutorial that opened when you started the computer, and it was a paper clip, and it like walked you through how
did
to.
you know that paperclip is coming back though?
No, I did not.
Yes. I don't know where I heard this thing. I want to say either K-Rock or like on social media, but yeah, Clippy's coming back.
Okay, so I need the Mac version of a paperclip to
Yeah.
teach me the ways.
He's so helpful.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is, and he never judged you. I love it. So,
I'm very excited for you. I just really appreciated Clippy. Anyway,
yeah. So my first step was to choose the color background. I mean, the color scheme that I wanted. And I gravitate towards pink. It's my signature color. I have a lot of pink in my everyday life, but I wanted to kind of see, I know like people paint rooms in the doctor's office and stuff a certain color because they calm. And then there's other colors that are supposed to be motivating.
certain colors trigger certain things. Mhm.
Yeah. So I pulled up color theory and some graphs on that and what the different colors mean. And so I actually printed out a chart. I'm going to tell you what the colors
Yeah.
mean. So red stands for like urgency, action, high energy, which makes sense.
Mhm.
Orange is creative and fun, adventurous. Yellow is relaxed, which I feel that with yellow, happy and enthusiastic. I think
Mhm.
yellow is a pretty happy color.
Oh
Light,
yeah.
yeah, light green is about growth and harmony. And I associate green with growth, like plants, or,
Mhm.
that's kind of what my head goes. Dark green is stability and balance. And light blue is productive and wisdom. which I probably need. But royal blue is also calm and relaxed. It also signifies loyalty and honesty. Purple is intuitive and spiritual, which I feel that about purple.
Yeah.
Pink is playful, and it's supposed to increase your pulse and your communicative energy.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then browns are warm and stable and comforting. So I decided to try something different since everything in my life is pink. And I went for earth tones like dark green and brown. And I've only had it like for a short time, so I may still change my mind. I don't know. But so once you choose a color, you can kind of pick through. When I checked, there were 80 some wallpapers available, and they're all different. Some of them have just like a motivational quote in the middle. Some of them have like a floral, wraparound. Some have different spaces. The ones that I was looking for have like, it almost looks like a scrapbook page where it has different spaces for different things. I chose one where you can group tabs and apps together. So I chose one that's separate. It has like palm leaves and a photo on it of a like plant. And then it has different they're like little, almost like note cards looking things on the page. And one is for personal, one is for work, one is for important tasks. And then it has a space where you can put like a digital sticky note of things to remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the one that I chose. But honestly, there were so many, and all the photos and the quotes can be changed out.
Yeah.
So I hopped over to Pinterest and I was looking at different quotes I wanted to maybe add. I saved a few things, different photos I might want to switch it out for. So you can really, there's like no end to the personalization.
Customize it. That's the great thing also about Canva is they make almost everything customizable.
Yeah.
They give you great templates, but you can change anything.
Right. And a lot of them had a built-in calendar function. So it almost looks like the page of a planner. Like it'll have a small calendar so you can keep track of what day it is in the corner. And then these different like areas where you would write stuff in or move your apps and your folders and files and things like that. So I've recently been working on a huge project here at the house where I'm digitizing all of my files. And so I have everything like in my computer or on my Google Drive, basically for the first time. So I'm still just kind of playing around with putting the folders and the apps in the sections that they apply to. But already before my desktop wallpaper was whatever the computer came with. I think it was like a starry sky image or whatever. And I had all along the left side were like apps and folders, and it was a little chaotic. So already when my computer comes on, it like seems so much more calming to me and so much more, I feel organized and like ready to start my day rather than seeing like 80 million tabs open. And
it's like that reminder that like, it's okay to spend how long did it take you to do all that? To like make it
less than an hour. Less than probably 30, 40 minutes. And just because I was indecisive.
Version, right? So
yeah.
if you go to canva.com and you spend, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes to an hour on yourself, that will continually, increase your productivity and reduce your stress level every single day. It's worth the time. People will like, oh yeah, I know, but like this works, right? Like they're like, this is fine. Like, no, but it's also okay to take time and like make it just slightly better. It's okay to do that. It's like that reminder that it's okay to take time, because it's like, we all have this kind of like weird built-in idea that like, because things are functional, that they're like fine. And yeah, to an extent, some things are fine like that. You don't have to upgrade and bougie everything, but this is a part of the brain that we're speaking of that we're not really we're not in full control over. If things just look too crazy, then your brain is going to start to do things to your mood, and just like it's going to affect a lot of areas of your life that if you would just take this little bit of time to fix this up, And there's no excuses. It's not like, well, I don't want to pay the fee. There's no fee, well, I don't want to spend all afternoon doing it. It takes 30 minutes, like, and you don't have to you didn't have a graphic designer background, right? Cool.
Not at all. No,
Not at all. So
I'm not very tech savvy.
So there's literally zero excuses why this wouldn't. And I've been on Canva. I go on Canva every day. And I just think like, I'm looking at my desktop right now going, man, all right, this is what I got to do this afternoon. Cause like, that's amazing that like they have that much ability to do it. And I kid you not, it will change. It will cause you to care a little bit more about other things that you didn't notice. You're like, my desktop looks nice. Now I feel like I'm going to go, like we were discussing, I'm going to go label it like some of the things in the pantry. Like it just might spark that excitement and that interest to maybe like just clean up your life, that like the article that published today, just like the habits of making yourself tidying up your life and tidying up your house is all about your habits. Like little things that you do, tiny little adjustments like this can really snowball into big changes in your life that really, it just like you had no idea.
Yeah.
That looking at the color brown was going to make you feel a certain way, but it is,
my schedule, my routine at least is that I wake up in the morning pretty early and I make myself a cup of coffee. Yes, I know I should have lemon water or whatever people think, but I make myself a cup of coffee and I go sit down on my computer. I'm still in my pajamas and it's literally the first thing I see in the morning when I'm just starting to wake up.
So how is the rest of the day going to go if it's, if it says work, if you just label the thing work, or like it's literally 50 tabs and you're just like, your first thought is, man, I hate what I do. You know what I mean? Like,
or the wallpaper that was built into my computer had no personal like attachment to me. Right
now mine's a lake scene to a place I've never been.
There you go. And it was, it was a starry sky scene. So it was fine, but it just wasn't.
You don't have any personal memories in that space.
Had no meaning to me at all.
It was
so
just
now
pleasing.
Yeah. Now when I, open my computer in the morning, it looks nice and it gives me a little visual representation of what's, needing to happen that day. It doesn't feel like crazy. It feels more organized. And it's really, like you said, doing that small change has motivated me to the rest of my desk and work area to kind of make it less chaotic, because I have an issue with object permanence. Like if something's out of sight, it's also out of my mind. If I put something away, I will forget to go back to it. So I end up with like papers and sticky notes and piles all over my desk because I don't want to forget about them. So what I've done that makes it a little bit better for me when I'm sitting down in the morning and I need a minute, like it feels like it feels like very, I don't know, like I'm being attacked with my day, my to-do list.
Yeah.
So I still have my to-do list. I keep it on the legal pad and I go through it the day and I switch it over, but now I have colored folders. So, and they're green also. And so it says like urgent projects and like short-term projects, long-term projects. So everything can be put, away in quotes, away,
but
not
still,
in the file.
But still seen and still on your mind, but not like.
Not piles with sticky notes all over my desk, because I can do the digital sticky note on my desktop now. There's a space for it. And there's a free app on Microsoft that does digital sticky notes in every color. But I also have these folders where sometimes it's like invoices that I need to go over and pay or call and dispute. Sometimes it's mail that needs to be returned, or like just a bunch of stuff. So I put them in these folders and they're still right to the side of my desk. So when I am ready to start, I start with urgent and then I go and review like short-term, long-term, make sure I'm staying on top of everything. And it's just, it doesn't feel so overwhelming, because sometimes when I sit down at my desk with that cup of coffee and my desk is an absolute disaster and there's notes to myself everywhere. Sometimes I scribble notes to myself and the next day I don't even understand what I was trying to say.
Right.
It'll be like 3 pickles tomorrow. And I'm like, wait, what?
You're like all of a sudden playing like National Treasure with your own writing. You're like, I think I meant this. Let's try. Yeah. You're like, I don't know why I wrote that, but all right. It seemed urgent. Yeah, I get it. I feel like it's close to like, we all kind of worked from home for a while. Some of us still do. It's like the version of working in your pajamas versus getting dressed for the day. Yes, you can still go to work either way, but you're going to apply your life a little bit better if you put that much more effort into it, or brushing your hair or not brushing your hair,
Yeah.
It's like, it just changes everything when you have a good layout when you're looking at, and so, and now we have the ability to like do that. Like that wasn't around in like when we in the 90s, late 90s, to have
No,
this
this is
type of ability.
relatively new.
Yeah. And like my mom would be like, dang, like this is the coolest part, not doing it. Like it's just really, really nice. And it just takes it that step further. Canva's a great choice to try out because like you said, you found 80 options. Like there's so many different choices.
And that was on the free version. I can only
Mhm.
imagine if I had the paid version, how many options there would
Just like
be.
thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I wouldn't even recommend anything else because that's like the best of the best. And they do have a free version of it. So that's
Yeah,
super cool. I'm definitely going to try it.
It reminds me a little bit like years and years ago when my kids were small and I started having to get them up for school. It was a struggle every morning. And if I would set my alarm for like 5 minutes before I had to wake them up. So I was trying to get myself ready and get them ready and drink my coffee. And I would end up grouchy and snapping at them. And like we were late every day.
You're late and your coffee's cold and you didn't eat because it's always you that sacrifices the stuff. But at the same time, it's like, I feel you.
Yeah, I was a huge grouch every morning because I went from sleeping to rushing. There was no buffer. So I taught myself and I reset my alarm to wake up 30 minutes before I had to get the kids up so I could have my cup of coffee in peace and quiet. And I could put something on that I could go to school drop off without wearing a robe or something. Because the day you go to school drop off in your nastiest pajamas is the day that the kids need you to carry something for them or something falls out of the car. I don't know. It's the one day that you have to get out for some reason. And it always happens.
And you straight up didn't wear shoes. You're like, I didn't even bring shoes to the car. Child, you figure it out. I'm not going to walk you barefoot to class because
every time. So I started waking up 30 minutes earlier. I had always thought, oh no, I need as much sleep as I could possibly get. And I did, but that 30 minutes changed my and my kids' whole morning routine for their entire school life to the time they graduate.
I would even like make their lunches the day before because I always noticed that like making lunches the morning of was also 15-20 minutes that like if I could carve out and shift and it really, like it shifted the whole morning because then that gave me 50 more minutes to drink my coffee or like,
I mean,
you always have those unexpected emergencies in the morning. Like I can only find one shoe or like, you got to leave 15 to 25 minutes for the unexpected.
Oh yeah. You're rolling up to school drop off and you see everybody carrying flowers and you're like, what the hell is everyone carrying flowers? And your kid goes, it's Teacher Appreciation Day. And you're like, why didn't you tell me? And this is always the way it goes.
Unexpected. That's why I started making lunches the night before. Cause I'm like, this is the unexpected time. Cause then I'm like looking at you, like you didn't tell me it was the 100th day of school and you need to be dressing like an old person.
Yeah.
That's your bad. And they're like, I'm the only one. Yeah. I hate this stuff. This is my
friend. I always would pack their lunches the night before and I tried laying out their clothes the night before, but I have very opinionated, especially my daughters, extremely opinionated. So they would wake up and say, I don't want to wear that anymore. And it's like, okay, last night you were dying to wear this. And this morning you hate it. It doesn't even fit you. Why would you have ever chosen that? It's scratchy. Oh my God. So I
always leave room for the unexpected BS that comes.
But even just that little period of time where I could have a relaxing cup of coffee.
You're a different version of yourself.
I was a better version of myself for my kids. I was more patient. And me not barking and rushing them made that set the tone for their day so they could have a better day.
I noticed my kids are Emma's a different vibe of herself when she's feeding off of my energy in the car when I'm like 10 minutes late and rushing and like borderline cursing.
And I don't know if any mom can relate to this. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but on the mornings that are the worst, like it's just the worst. Everything goes wrong that can go wrong. You're late to school. You're barking at your kids. One of them starts crying. And then the drive home after you drop them off, knowing that you dropped your kid off at school in tears because you lost your patience is the shittiest feeling in the world. Oh yeah, it really is. Because and you can't, they probably like forget it immediately.
Forgot about it.
But you, the rest of the day, feel like the worst mom on the planet. Yep. And so I mean, that small change made a huge difference. And I feel like now, I mean, I'm in a different situation in my life, but being able to start my day in a way that feels more organized that feels
It
intentional?
feels like on your I like to I like to control a little bit, and I feel like the day is a bit
a
more
little bit, Megan.
bit. I like to control, and I feel like the day is a bit in the morning's a bit more in my control, because I don't know what happens, and you can relate, but from the hours of like 6 to like morning school drop off, it feels like 15 to 25 seconds. And so you're like, if I know there's 2 hours there, but I don't know where it went. So like this feels like I can drink my coffee without microwaving it, or I don't have to sacrifice not eating breakfast this morning, or like I feel like I'm in a bit more control of the day when I have that extra, like I'm ahead of the game, because
Yeah.
that time is inevitable. The bell rings at this time, whether you're in pajamas and a hot mess or you're looking like a 10 dropping them off. You got to be at school at that time. If I can wake up just a little bit earlier, that time's for me. That time is so I can eat some breakfast, so I can get dressed, maybe put some makeup on. Like I feel weird.
Look like a human. Yeah.
I feel weird having to set an alarm to wake up so that I can put makeup on, because I'm like 20-year-old me was going, what are you doing? But that's my life now. And I don't feel also very good about sacrificing that completely because I have kids. Like I want to be able to feel good about myself and have kids, but I know that's impossible in the time frame that I have. So I have to find the time, just like you feeling really cruddy about, and you're feeling really flustered, and you're feeling really overwhelmed, and you don't know really where it's coming from. Maybe fixing your desktop or your iPhone, page will not fix everything, but it's certainly there to help you, and it might help some, which will help a lot. So
yeah, it does.
Like it's not going to fix life, but it certainly is there to aid you in this crazy thing we have called life. Utilize it,
Right. Well, my morning routine to sit at the computer first thing when I have my coffee is partly because we do business in on the other side of the world, and they are an 11-hour time difference. So sometimes I'm catching them barely at the end of their day as I'm waking up. So
yeah, you're not on the computer browsing like gossip.
No, I'm not
like,
doing
you're
fun
doing
things.
business at a weird time of the day for you, but normal for them.
Yeah. So I sit down at my computer knowing I have some tasks I need to accomplish while I'm having my coffee. And then I go back downstairs, I walk the dogs, I get dressed, I start my day like a normal human. But that morning, if I sit down at my computer with sticky notes everywhere, 50 million emails to handle, I don't know where to start. I feel really overwhelmed. And it sets a bad tone for my day. If I sit down at the computer, the desktop is organized. I have a little, this is urgent list that's on I can handle.
Where to start.
Right. I just handle just a few things that need to be handled first thing in the morning. And then I go and I make my breakfast, I get dressed, I start my day, and the whole tone of the day is more relaxed. Mm-hmm. I'm a better version of myself.
Like your moments. I feel like when I'm stressed and I feel like I'm too strung out, when I finally force myself to eat, I'm like guilty eating. I'm like eating really fast and like, oh, I should be doing something else. Like, but when you feel like you've checked off a lot of boxes, then you can sit down and enjoy your lunch and go like, this is my time. I deserve this. I've worked hard. Like I deserve to eat lunch too. Like,
yeah,
you can be there for your moments that you should be there for, because we're already feeling kind of guilty about, as a mom, as an employee, just stopping and like taking time for yourself. It already feels weird, like I notice that when I've done what I need to get done and I can eat and I feel more valid in that time to eat,
It's the same. When I go back downstairs knowing that my most urgent tasks were handled, I can take the time to make myself a healthy breakfast. I can walk the dogs a little farther and not feel like I have to rush back, like go potty so I can rush back. Like, let's just take a nice walk.
The fires have been put out,
Exactly. And I feel like we all love to follow these people on social media. We watch these videos on TikTok where the person has this like super organized house, this super put together life. And they show like little clippets of it, and people love, I know a couple people who have those accounts, and they're beautiful to watch. Mm-hmm. But if you watch that and you feel like it's impossible for you to ever achieve that, first of all, that's not reality, because they have a closet full of, they have a junk drawer, they have a closet full of stuff that they need to do. Like their house has little closets and stuff hidden. I promise you.
Are you telling me Khloe Kardashian? Because Khloe Kardashian loves a good organization. Like like her pantry's beautiful. Everything's beautiful. Are you telling me that there might be a room or two that they don't?
I'm telling you, in her garage, she has. in her garage or her storage room, she has all the Costco
Oh,
packaging that
man.
came in.
Although there was an episode where like the mom had somebody professionally come out and organize her garage, like the bins, like professionally organize it. Man, those are like my favorite episodes because I'm
Yeah.
just like, or like, oh, whoa, who's that? Marie Kondo. Like,
Yeah.
Marie
Oh, yeah,
Kondo,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it serves if you give it love and then you set it free or whatever.
Mhm.
I thrive on that stuff. It doesn't overwhelm me. It gives me like it gives a fire under my butt. It makes
It's
me go like,
aspirational for
what am I
sure.
doing with my life? You know, like, but some people they go and they're like, dude, like
I could never. No,
why
I think
would
it's
you do this? Why? Because I know where things are, and that's like one step closer to me taking a nap one day.
yeah. But if those are accounts that you love and that super motivate you and those are aspirational for you, I feel like I try at least whatever my goals are in my personal life, I try to do things every day that bring me a little closer to the version of myself that I want to be. And those everybody is going to be different for everybody. But I feel like if organizing yourself or finding kind of a calm peacefulness in the way that your to-do list looks, whatever it is, like if you do little tiny tweaks every day that bring you closer to that version of yourself, you will get there. I mean,
We'll get
it's
there.
baby steps, but the progress
It doesn't have to be
snowballs.
a major renovation, but like start with your desktop and then maybe organize your makeup drawer. You know,
Yeah.
they like go to maybe not the Container Store because like
No, Dollar Tree has some
that place can
amazing
overwhelm me.
bins.
But like any Target, Dollar Tree, all those places have great organizational tools, and just organize like a portion of your life that you see every day, and then watch yourself like smile, and then you'll
Yeah.
organize a little bit, and then like a month later you'll own a label maker, you know, and like
Mhm.
and like just watch it. It's not if you try and fix everything at once, you're gonna get so overwhelmed you'll quit.
You'll
won't
give up. Yeah.
But if you just go, okay, today I'm going to tackle the bathroom, not even the bathroom. Today I'm going to tackle the makeup drawer. Today I'm going to tackle the pantry. Today I'm going to tackle the kids' game closet. And you just kind of like start there and you see the end. Because as humans, all we need is to see the end result and see that it works, right? Because you did it, you applied it, but you also know that it works. So like we need to
Yeah.
see something, finish it, and then apply and then use it in an organized way and see how much better life is for us to want to do it to something else. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
And if you live in a house with people who will not respect your organizational system,
Kick them out and start
no,
over.
no. Focus first on the areas that only affect you, like your
Yeah.
makeup drawer,
makeup
your
drawer,
closet,
cosmetics, your clothes,
desk.
your shoes.
Exactly.
It's fun to like, because I guarantee you're going to start to see a lot. There's a lot of apps. There's a lot of pairs of shoes. There's a lot of, eyeshadow palettes that you have not used, worn, tried in a while because you haven't even seen it because you're
Mhm.
so like buried in all these things. I like, I don't know if this happens to you, but like I'll see an app, like a commercial for an app, and I'll go to download it, and then I'll find out I already own it, and I'm like, where? Like I don't even know where you are. It's because like we get inspired to use something, and then it just gets buried. Just
Yeah.
like a pair of shoes. we gotta
Very
talk
normal.
about. If you have a sense of organization, you might notice that there's things that you no longer it doesn't serve your current purpose in life, an app, a pair of shoes, whatever it is, and you can get rid of it and streamline your life more. And it's just going to streamline your brain more.
Well, and you can find those moments of peace in the areas that are your designated areas that you have control over. I know, Megan, you're moving soon. And this was one of my biggest things when I moved a lot, you know that. One of my biggest things when I moved is that rather than unboxing a box here, a box there, this and that, I would focus on getting one room completely finished.
I remember
so
that.
I had one room I could
Of-
sit
of
in and
solitude and unity.
peacefulness and one completely.
So
So I
remember
wasn't
that.
I wasn't
so
sitting
remember-
there
yeah.
looking at the chaos because then I have no off switch. I will keep unpacking until I drop dead. So I had to have a room where I could just sit and feel like I hadn't just moved, like this is finished. And it saved my sanity, I swear. And so I think sometimes just having control over the things that you can control, like if it's your closet, your
I
makeup
think
drawer.
it's easy for us to just assume that we don't have control over it when really in reality there are things that you can apply that you can't control that
Yes.
will help your overall you got to know yourself. Like for me, I don't think organizing my closet by color works, but I feel like organizing my closet by type of clothing works better, because in moments when I'm trying to go and I need a dress, I don't know if I want a blue dress or whatever,
Right.
but I know I need a dress. But for some other people, color coordination helps their brain, it helps their function. So know what works for you, and apply that, and like what works for affirmations, as their titles may not work for some people, but they know they need to do some sort of adjustment. Use this as an inspiration to see what works for you, and explore the TikTok's a great app to just like find similar but different versions of something,
Mhm.
like what you found was different ways. You can do it by color, you can do it by this or that. There's different ways to organize and to bring and draw organization to your life that is very specific to you as a person.
Yes.
So but be open to exploring it, and take the time to explore it, because just that small tweak in your desktop, in your, just organization in small places in your life is going to it's like you'll become a 20% better version of yourself,
Yeah,
You'll
I think
show up
sometimes
everything 20% better,
Yeah. I think sometimes we don't recognize how affected we are by our environment until the environment changes. And it's like you took a super heavy backpack off your back, and suddenly it's so much lighter. And when you consider picking that backpack up again, you're like, how did I carry that?
Right.
And I think that for me, I feel like that when I'm in a like cluttered, disorganized environment. And I get so used to it. I normalize it. And then once I finally get the, energy to fix it, I'm like, wow, how did I have that as my normal?
Right. I feel like
This
we all
is-
get that excitement when we move, of like, oh, it's a new environment, it's a new
Mhm.
start, it's a fresh start. Like, why do we need to wait to like move to have a fresh start?
Yeah, you
Like
don't.
you don't have to wait for spring to clean. You don't have to wait to move to reorganize things and readjust how you're functioning as a person. You can do it anytime,
Yeah,
and
I
there's
just
so much
like
inspiration.
I just did my skincare drawer in my bathroom because I get samples all the time from people that want me to review it for the site, or that come in the mail, just like, or free gift at Ulta, whatever. I have a whole drawer full of skincare stuff and stuff I've bought. I've heard about it on TikTok. I got to go to Amazon and buy that. So I bought these little drawer bins at Dollar Tree. And so they were literally $1. And then I used my label maker and I labeled them. So I have like masks, I have like moisturizer,
Perfect.
cleanser.
No, and you're using them probably 20%
So
more
much-
now.
Because before I was digging through a drawer and holding up, is this
yeah.
mask? No, that's for hair. Is this? No. And so even when I pack, I grab a trial size of this cleanser, of that moisturizer. So I have a little one. It's so much easier. And it took me, very little time.
A little bit of time. It will
And-
take a little bit. You'll have to maybe miss, the newest episode of Gossip Girl or just catch it later, whatever.
It cost me probably $5 and it took me probably 20 minutes. And
how much better did you feel? And does it still look good?
Yes,
Like,
because it's so,
you don't go back to laziness.
no,
You
because it's
still
so,
apply
the
it.
drawer is now filled with bins and the bins are labeled. So when I open the drawer to throw something in there, there's no open space to throw it in. I have to put it in the
You
bin.
have no choice but to be organized.
But to put it in the bin it belongs in. Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's just
It's
so much. Yeah. It's a small thing, but it brings me a ton of satisfaction. So those small things make a huge difference. If you have been ignoring something like that's bothering you, we encourage you, now is the time. Whether it's your desktop, your iPhone, your makeup drawer, just one small step in the direction that you want to go.
Because Canva's free. The things that you're using are from the Dollar Tree. This is not like, oh, I have to go like completely, like I have to go take out a personal loan to completely renovate my life.
No.
Like, no, there's ways around it where it's just there to make it a little bit better. And it's fun. Like, you're going to have to look at your screen anyway for work. Why would you want to look at like whatever mountain scene that it came with and then like 50 tabs open, and
Or
like,
a lot of like work computers come with the company logo as the wallpaper. No, you
or
can
like
do
a
better.
giant super fuzzy image of your kid. It's like, great, that's cute. We all love our kids, but it's like that giant image of your kid may be like a trigger, maybe a trigger for more stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I have pictures of my kids, but I'm changing it because you know what? Like their faces sometimes, like with the apps, like I can't find things sometimes, and it's just too much. Like,
Yeah.
you know, or we just go into Google and like, oh, free wallpaper. Like, no, like do it with some purpose. Try Canva out. There's like, and it's already you'll be so amazed at how aesthetically pleasing it is, and just how you know you'll have a harder time picking out which one to use.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. That took the longest, honestly. Took the longest for me to choose one than it did for me to reorganize the whole thing. So, and also in the process, I found a lot of folders, files, old pictures
Yeah.
that I didn't need on my computer that I put in the recycle bin. And
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
kind of like if you give a mouse a cookie. I feel like if you leave your desktop and you organize your desktop, and your desktop's pretty, but then like your drawer in your desk is super messy and crazy. Well, how can you have a pretty,
Yeah.
wallpaper and a pretty computer and this messy surrounding? And then you'll do that. And then that'll cause you to clean up this and clean up that. Like it's a snowball of good. Or
Agreed.
not. Start here and end here. That's fine too. It's just people look at their screens more than anything now, and I feel like that's where it needs the most attention because it's subconsciously causing us a lot of anxiety and stress. you
Yeah,
know?
I agree. So yeah, we definitely encourage all of you to explore these options for your phone or your desktop, and or any other aspect of your life that you feel like needs organizing. We would love to hear about what you did and how it affected you. I think that's really interesting and how it's different for everybody. So
Mhm.
if you guys want to share that with us, you can comment on the article of this subject, or you can talk about it in the discussion group on Facebook. And thank you guys for joining us. As always, we appreciate every single one of you. So we want to remind you to please give us a subscribe and rate and review this podcast. It helps us tremendously on the algorithms. So thank you guys all for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to bookmark our site, she'safullonmonet.com, and subscribe to our newsletter. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're enjoying this podcast, it helps us a lot if you can follow, rate, and review. See y'all next week.